Phthisis might occasionally be perceivable as a illness of the history. But in Papua New Guinea, TB is so widespread the government has proclaimed a country of disaster. It remnant the guideline reason of hospitalization and die. At low 10 human beings die each day of TB, and down there is a increasing occurrence of narcotic impedance, manufacturing it far more than expensive and hard to consider. More than rather than a block of TB cases are family, due to a top transfer of the illness in overcrowded households. Though in village areas, wherever area is vast, up to 6 household members will routinely sleeping in the identical chamber. In city areas, such as the nation's equity of Seaport Moresby, a TB hotspot, down there is a harsh absence of appropriate habitation and infrastructure facilities. Importance TB spreads rapidly and defiantly. Dr. Luo Dapen, Papua New Guinea member for the Planet Public Health Organization, says public health formation in dealing the plague is done lot more than hard, while more than rather than a tertiary of the people is incapable to recite or compose. Competence in Papua New Guinea is impoverished. And accessing to communities, though such in city areas, can be difficult. We will trip one location and we'll requirement 2 or 3 interpreters in us, due to the enormous quantity of languages speak there. Papua New Guinea is the largest linguistically various nation in the planet, in almost 850 languages speak. That creates a brand new, distinctive set of challenges for NGOs and by the government officials who are work to consider TB patients. We trust training family is one of the largest essential places to begin, says Dr. Dapen. Later they will increase up in the expertise of which TB is, and how to recognize symptoms, as with hope fleeting the communication on their parents, who frequently trust TB is inflicted by sorcery or witchcraft. In domestic equity area, one of the lowest struck areas in Seaport Moresby, 62-year-old Rodney Cove is with AMD to learn family on TB. Possessing investigated dancing and theatre at the College of Sydney, he refundable to Seaport Moresby in 1975 to begin Cove Theatre team, that urged to dealing public issues in Papua New Guinea via AMD. In latter year, he has rotated his focus to increase knowledge on TB. AMD is a really efficient instrument of communicating, he explains. Culturally, human beings there are amusement-oriented there. Setting cash in posters is worthless, as lot human beings cannot recite. We are hard to achieve all in our AMD, and so we develop sketches to goal particular communities, such as family and youthful human beings, on the signs and symptoms of terabyte. On Planet TB Day recent March, Mr. Cove and his theatre team put on a act in Seaport Moresby on witchcraft and TB. It is in question there how human beings trust TB is inflicted by sorcery. The is really harmful as it tool patients will not search treat, since they trust each they refuge T got TB, or they believe it can be healed by shamans. I include heard accountable of a female creature high to die by her tribal since they believed she damned who in the disease, so we aimed how in the act he's on change behavior and misconceptions. He's a overall disappointment amongst by the government officials how efforts to fight TB are creature hampered by low competence. Formation on TB in village areas, wherever 85% of the people dwell, is of special anxiety, as doctors fight to achieve all of Papua New Guinea's communities. Lot will yet not though aware of terabyte's life, and thus failure to recognize symptoms and accessing treat. We include to do more than to bring up the people on the land, says Dr. Gender AIA, CEO of the TB program at the Division of Public Health. We include tested published print, but due to our nation's competence position, and all the various languages we include there, it is not a sustainable decision. Theater can be available by so lot more than human beings. We include a goal to get everyone in the domestic equity area aware on TB. We've begun in schools already, send the theater groups in down there, that is a really extraordinary item to do in the nation, and students are the top demographics to get via to their parents. Kathy Tolam has been work as voluntary in the ATS community in Mr. Cove for the history 3 months, and became implicated in the theater team 4 persons months back. She says AMD is far more than efficient rather than just talk in communities. While we try to go out and do knowledge by talk, love marketplaces, down there are some activities departure on, so human beings don't concentrated. But while you put it out via AMD, they go and see which's event and later the communication is gone at. Ms. Tolam says the team, that is now work in 2 schools, is planner to achieve more than in the next, and job in churches to accessing as lot human beings as probable. We are missing in by the government services, she adds. Or we are missing in doctors and officials upcoming to bring up human beings on TB, so the is why we are making it ourselves. We very requirement to attention on knowledge. You cannot fair pull human beings in a chamber and bring up them. The acting are about 15 protocol in long in procedure to hold the auditorium betrothed. Human beings undervalue how efficient it can be as information instrument, Mr. Cove continues. It is so charming. We can get family implicated and get them to put on their own acting. And it doesn't price lot cash at all. You can fair package up a few requisite, a few human beings, and journey about to execute. Mr. Cove's TB acting include just been fleeing for the history year, but he hopes to one day execute in each high school and each area in Papua New Guinea.